What is House of Leaves?
House of Leaves is
A labyrinth, literally.
it's a book about being afraid of what you don't know. So it's like exploring all the unknown things that are really closer to you than you think that they are.
I mean, I've heard it called a horror story, but it's not really a horror story.
This is gonna sound weird, but it's like more a personal story than a book.
It's set up really weird. It's about a guy, Johnny Truant, who finds this old guy that his friend knew. He finds his notes.
And is reading things off of like scraps and stamps and torn things on walls and floors and chests and stuff.
About another person who found this house that the rooms change sizes.
I mean, the book tells like 4 different stories of all these different characters.
And then at one point they discover this hallway and they try to like explore it and stuff, but it never really ends.
I mean, you're reading the Davidson record, and the next thing you know, you have to read Johnny's story, which just takes you in a completely opposite direction from where you were going. So like you're kind of heading towards the end, then he just takes you somewhere else.
And back to Johnny Truant, as he reads the book and goes through the notes and tries to set it up to form a coherent story, he slowly seems to start losing his mind.
And then you got pictures, and the book turns different ways. You never really reach a final conclusion.
And that's basically what the book is about. The text on the pages is arranged like really strangely. Like on some pages they only have one word, but on other pages, there's like paragraphs and paragraphs of lists of just names.
Like when the one guy is shooting with a rifle, and then the whole thing just starts having one word per page to kind of show you, like as all the different doors are closing in on him, it's kind of closing in on you too.
There's some coloring, some text size differences, etc.
And then sometimes there's just blank pages with the little brackets. I guess that's to show you you're like stuck in it.
Definitely the part where Davidson is crawling through the tiny tunnel in the house, and it gets smaller and smaller, and the text on each page is less and less and less until it gets to about one word per page. I just started feeling really claustrophobic and like trapped.
I think it was done that way to make it mostly more interactive, so that it just adds to the verbal description of what the situation is, to put you more in the place, to feel like you're in the story as whoever is experiencing whatever part you're at. It made you feel like you were going through the same house that Navy was, and I thought that it added a lot to the book. As for the word house being in blue, I don't really know why he did that.
I really have no idea why the word house is in blue all the time.
Didn't add anything for me, honestly.
Black would have been fine too, because it was like a black hole if it was in bold.
Except I guess highlight how many times the word house came up in other conversation that wasn't directly about the house, which is kind of cool, I guess.
It definitely affected how the reader like reacted to the scenes.
I don't even think the house was blue. Was the house blue?
I think House of Leaves is definitely just more than like a plain old book.
Was I emotionally affected by this book?
It just kind of made me uptight, but not in a horrible way. I experienced a lot of anxiety while reading, because it's scary at times, and the idea of being in this endless, dark place by yourself is very frightening to me.
When I was reading the book, I didn't really start hearing noises or anything, but I've heard about people like that. I don't know, just like once they introduced the house and stuff, it just started feeling like nothing made sense anymore, like in anything. Like all around me, it just stopped like fitting together. It was weird.
Quite a few people have felt like anxiety and felt a little bit scared during the book, so I kind of anticipated that's what I was supposed to feel, but because I knew that was what I was supposed to feel, I didn't feel it.
Certain parts of the books like really, got me like feeling weird stuff. Like the part where they first discovered the 1/4 inch difference, it just like this feeling of unease started like creeping up on me, like something's going on here, but I don't know how it's happening or anything.
Well, I've always been afraid of the dark, but now sometimes I get scared that like if I go out into the dark hallway that it got bigger overnight or something, so I always have to turn on all the lights.
whenever I go anywhere to make sure that everything's still the same size as it was when I left it.
As the story went on and Johnny got like more and more crazy, it just felt like, I don't know, like everything was becoming like that. I mean, his sentences were just like, they would just run on for a page, and it felt like the thoughts were all getting jumbled together, and you know, it started happening to me too, I think.
For example, how Johnny gets from just trying to decode the entire novel and put it together. People probably focus more on that, the way he acted, and the people who focus more on Johnny and how he seemed, they're probably going to feel the exact same way because they're like, wow, look what happened to him.
When babies in the walls and the kids hear them is really scary to me because, I don't know, I just think that if I was in that situation, that would probably be the most frightening thing I could imagine.
I had one dream about it, but I got out of the dark tunnel. It was only like a 30-second minute hallway for me.
I had a bad dream, which is like, I remember when he has a dream about being in the place where you have to jump into the hole and you don't know whether you're gonna go to heaven or hell, and I had that dream, only there was like, it was full of people that I knew and I was really scared and I woke up really upset.
Some dreams, mostly about being stuck in places, not being able to get out.
I don't know, we were just like in a room, and then the room just got bigger and just kept getting bigger. And I kind of was more like, oh, why is this happening? Rather than freaking out in my dream.
Feeling dreams than like remembering them vividly. Like you just wake up feeling like claustrophobic, you know?
After I read House of Leaves, I felt like, I don't know, I had to like tell somebody about it.
It's like a story about a movie about a house all inside of a book, and then when people talk about it outside of the book, they become part of the story in the book because it just adds to the layers. So in that way, everyone that talks about it adds that much to like all the things building around this house that doesn't actually exist.
I definitely think that the effects emotionally or psychologically that the book has on people makes it so easily discussed, and like you seek out discussion about the book because it's sort of just like if something that caused a lot of emotion to happen in real life, you would want to tell somebody right away. And if it happens to you while reading and didn't really happen to you, but it produced the same effects, I would still want to talk to somebody about it and see what they thought, and if they felt the same way, or if they had the same ideas, or if I was just kind of crazy.
So I talked to my friend in Massachusetts and got him started to read it, and like at first he wasn't really sure what was going on, but like as it went on he got more and more into it, and eventually like I didn't see him or talk to him for a long time, and I found out later that he was just reading the book like non-stop, and he was like getting obsessed with it and with Johnny Truant, and I don't know, that kind of like impressed me that the book could do that to someone.
I understand why people would become almost obsessed with the book because it affected them, because I can't really explain what the book does to you, but it seems so realistic. And I mean, everything that happens to the characters in the books could almost like seem like they could happen to you.
It's kind of like an idea or something, like you have to talk about it once you're done reading it, and everybody seems to interpret what it's trying to say in their own way.
I mean, you get done and you have all these questions.
What exactly was the noise that was coming from the house?
And why does the house wind up just like spitting him out in the room?
Why is the house doing this kind of stuff?
No body was recovered. How does a house, like, where does the bodies go?
What's going on with Johnny?
And was there really an Davidson house?
Why does it drive him insane? I mean, these are all answers that are never really answered in the book. You have to draw upon like your own experiences and stuff to find the answers.
It was weird.
I really just enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I've reread them a lot. Highlighted them also, a lot of them.
I know that Johnny said that this was entirely fictional and that Zampano basically made it up, but if you didn't know that, is there a house?
It's also just a really good book, even without that. So, I think it deserves the renown it has.
I wish this was real. I'd feel a lot better about it if it was real.
And oh,